The Kansas City Chiefs picked up their second win of the season last week over the Carolina Panthers. They hit the road this week to play the Cleveland Browns. Cleveland is currently installed as a 6.5-point favorite in this game on BETDAQ. 37.5 is the total. Now, in my opinion, the Chiefs are the single most difficult team in the NFL to handicap right now, and that has everything to do with the tragedy last Saturday. You all know the story. Javon Belcher, Chiefs linebacker, murdering his girlfriend and then killing himself in the parking lot of the Chiefs facility in front of head coach Romeo Crennel and general manager Scott Pioli. An incredible, tragic situation. And when this happened last Saturday, the line in the Chiefs game with the Carolina Panthers was briefly taken down, really, from sportsbooks all over the world. It was then put back up with Carolina as a 5.5-point favorite when they had been a 3.5-point favorite pre-tragedy. Now, Sunday morning, I had all kinds of people coming to me and asking me, is this the best game of the week? Carolina minus 5.5. I mean, how are the Chiefs going to play? How are they going to respond after such a tragic situation? And I said then, the same thing I'm saying here this week, it's just tough to predict. Almost impossible to predict how people are going to react to something like that. Would I have been at all surprised if the Chiefs had lost 40-0 last week? You know, those players after the game saying things like, well, there's just so many more important things in football. No, that would not have surprised me at all. And I wasn't surprised last week when the Chiefs were able to pull together and pull out a win. So, I don't know what to expect this week. I mean, are the Chiefs going to be hung over after what had to be a brutal, emotional week? Are they not going to be ready to play on the road? That might be the case. They might get blown out by the Cleveland Browns. Or maybe Kansas City, maybe that tragedy really galvanized this team, and maybe they're going to be a different team going forward. We saw the Chiefs play better at the end of last season. Now, I guess that's a bad comparison because last season they had a coaching change at the end of the year, and certainly they weren't dealing with anything tragic like this. However, I think it's really tough to predict right now how the Chiefs are going to come out and play this week. Now, we know the Cleveland Browns, even though they're 4-8, they've been playing better recently. Cleveland has won their last 2 games, and they're 4-1 against the spread in their last 5 games. That being said, Cleveland a 6.5-point favorite. This is the biggest number they've had to lay all year, and quite frankly, I'm not very comfortable backing the Browns and laying 6.5 points. I mean, they only average 19 points a game. They're coming off 2 straight wins, but those wins by 3 and 4 points respectively. I know the Chiefs at 2-10, the worst team in the league, or along with Jacksonville, the worst team in the league. But you know, the Chiefs have been playing a little bit better on defense these last few weeks. They haven't allowed 30 points or more in any of the last 4 games. That's after they allowed 30 or more in 5 of their first 8 games. So they've started to play a little bit better. They do have a good secondary. They're top 10 in the NFL in pass defense. And Cleveland's rookie quarterback, Brandon Weeden, has had some turnover problems this year. Now look, the Chiefs' offense is absolutely awful. They're 31st in the NFL in points scored. We mentioned Cleveland's only averaging 19 points a game, where the Chiefs are only averaging 15.7 points per game. Last week in their win over Carolina, they scored 3 touchdowns. That was more touchdowns than that offense had generated in the entire month of November. Somebody told me that during the live stream last Sunday. Really thought that was a great, incredible stat, but a great stat to just really highlight how bad this Chiefs offense has been recently. And Cleveland has an average to above average defense. I believe 16th in the NFL right now in terms of yards allowed per game, but they've been playing better and better these last 3 or 4 weeks. So we do expect a low scoring game here. Now, that's not news to anybody. The total here is 37.5, an extremely low total. You certainly understand why the total's there. I guess I lean towards the under here, and I guess I lean towards the Kansas City Chiefs. Though, as I said, really nothing would surprise me with the Chiefs at this point. They're a really tough team to predict right now, a tough team to handicap because of the tragedy last week. But I just think 6.5 is too many points for the Cleveland Browns to be given anybody at this point. This is a very limited offense. The Chiefs, as we mentioned, have been playing better on defense. So this is sort of a gross game. I don't think it's going to be a fun game to watch. It's not a fun game to bet on. But you know what? I got to say I lean towards the Chiefs plus 6.5 on the road this week in Cleveland.